It is 9 minutes after the hour, 6 o'clock, and it's a very good evening to you. Welcome to it. It is our broadcast brought to you courtesy of Government Communication and Information System, the GCIS, together with the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. The name is Karabo Lance. Glad to be holding your hand for the next coming hour. I'm pretty excited. It is a season number 5 of Let's Talk Justice, Live Your Rights show. And I'll be taking you through the next coming, let's see, how much, I think we're talking about between 10 and 11 episodes. I'll be interchanging with my colleague Musoto Stone, who'll be doing that as well. And we're very delighted to be part of this broadcast and part of this series as it begins. Lina ke karabo lance ke stogolana sa ba pedi matebele tabelo wa lona mtelechi khasho ya rena o itlisetswa ke ba Government Communication and Information System, the GCIS, ga mmogo le lefapha la toka le tsweletsopele ya molaotheo, the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. 0800 142 446. That's 0800 142 446. That is our toll-free number. If you want to interact with us, we'll be very delighted that you do that. Guess what we're talking about this evening? You can guess by the excitement. This is one of my favorite programs, by the way. And joining me in the studio to co-host this program is a friend, a colleague, and somebody that you know as well, Ms. Josephine Peta, Senior Legal Administrator, Admin Officer from the Office of the Family Advocate. Josephine, good evening to you and welcome.
Good evening, Karabo, and good evening to the listeners as well.
Once again, we're here. Once again, we're rolling. And we're talking about maintenance this evening. Hey, because I know this is one of the programs that's very, very, very popular with the listeners, and I would like you to take part, and I would like you to interact with us, and to make sure that you're getting all the information that you may require as we talk about this. Let's kick off. Get a Tom. Let's Arabia about it. Before now, right? Maintenance, what is it exactly that we're talking about? Let's take it from a legal perspective, and let's take it from how a layman will understand that.
Okay, firstly, a maintenance is a right, and then secondly, it is an obligation. And when I'm saying a right, it's simply because, remember, we have various types of maintenance. We have your spousal maintenance, your child maintenance, and your reciprocal maintenance. So now I'm saying, firstly, it is a right of an individual to be provided with the living essentials, such as your shelter, your food, your medical expenses, clothes, and etc. And then it is an obligation of another person. It's a corresponding obligation that someone must actually provide such. And however, I think in South Africa we need a mindset shift. And I'm starting this because of, this is a disclaimer for me, I'm starting this today because there's a very big myth out there that is circulating out there, in terms of which we generally are genderizing the aspect of maintenance. Particularly,
let's talk about that myth.
Particularly child maintenance.
Right.
I want to confine this to child maintenance because I've been looking at the stats. They're very horrendous. They are speaking volumes to our conduct as people. Child maintenance, it is an obligation of both parents. However, the myth out there is that we think it is the obligation of fathers. Yes, I understand the statistics are speaking against the fathers. However, we need to come back and contextualize it and look at it from an obligation perspective to say we were both in this. We had this child together. Then what is then our role insofar as taking care of this child is concerned? So I'm thinking that I'm going to throw it out there and say, the people of South Africa, let us now start talking about taking care of the well-being of children. Let us debunk this myth that maintenance is a responsibility of male species.
All right, you and I can debunk the myth, as you say, right? But the debunking of the myth, could it be supported by the legal side of things? I'll give you an example. For instance, you and I can agree that maintenance is between two parents.
Yes,
all right,
correct.
A father and a mother to the child. Okay, we can agree on that. But now, when it comes to issues of for instance, your court order, the one that indicates what needs to happen, how much, how frequent, to whom is that? To whom must it go? So if a lady goes to court now, for instance, files for maintenance, right?
Yes.
We can't debunk the myth because now the lady has gone as a complainant.
I think we can still debunk.
Okay, let's go for it.
From this perspective.
Let's see. Okay, let's see.
It then poses the question as to who's entitled to make an application for a maintenance. Remember, when you dealing with maintenance, it is not actually the mother or the applicant applying for that maintenance in their favor. They are doing it because they are representing a minor child, because a minor child cannot go to court and represent themselves. So you basically go in there as a representative of this young child, because this child cannot comprehend what is basically going on. Number two, as the caregiver of the child, remember you are having care of this child, you are staying with this child, you are the one who is experiencing all these expenses and everything. Then you're basically saying to the other parent that please come to the party, let us assist each other. However, remember, in our subconscious minds, we're basically saying that you left me, because that's where the dispute is always is. You left me and therefore I'm going to make you pay. We go with that particular attitude. We don't go there as the lifetime partners in parenting of a child. We go there saying, I'm going to show Karabo flames because he left me. I'm going to ask for, I'm going to just put a ballpark figure and say, I want 7,000 rand. And remember, when that 7,000 comes back to you, you're already saying, this one knows they've been staying with me. They know I earn 14,000 and now they want half. So we can debunk that myth to an extent that says, parents, please come together and have a conversation about the child. Do not go and call up for a figure, because in actual fact, in my view, you are shooting yourself in the, you're shooting yourself in the sense that you are asking for 5,000. Believe you me, when you stay with a child, that 5,000 rand will not finish month end. Okay. That I'm telling you now.
Okay. Let's talk about, you mentioned issues of being a caregiver, for instance. You're saying that if one is a caregiver, for instance, they could go to the court, approach the court, and they can file for maintenance, because perhaps at that particular time, they're the ones who are taking care of the kid, and they want assistance, right? Yes. They want assistance from the parent that's not there in the house.
Yes.
Most South Africa are this thing, kids belong to. By default, basically, it's playing against the father.
It is.
How do we sort that out? Because there are many fathers who will say, I cannot be told, I cannot. It cannot be taken as if I don't want to be part of the child's life. If somebody is saying that I need to pay maintenance because they're staying with the child, let the child come and stay with me then.
Yes, yeah.
So how do we deal with that?
So and then it's more of a moral issue more than a legal issue, in the sense that we are sort of now starting to compete. And now this child is more of, a bargaining tool between the two of us. Because I'm saying that, I'm going to retain this child and then you need to then pay for this child. And in many cases, we're not even making informed decisions about this. For instance, I will make an example of a person that will go to court and say, I want 3,000 rand. Mm-hmm. But then they have not filtered in the basic necessities of the child. Mm-hmm. They'll go there and say, I want 5,000 rand, but then they're forgetting that this child eats from the 1st to the 31st.
Yeah.
This child needs to go to school. There are extramural activities. This child can get sick. They need to be clothed at least 4 times a season. But then you have not fitted those in, but then you are only looking at that to say, I want to get this person's attention for them to give me money. And I'm saying that I think we need to move from there, have a conversation and say, look, these are the essentials of this child to make this child, to actually grow to become, a human being that we will be proud of, a future leader of tomorrow. And then how do we then take care of this child? We know the child must eat. Then who's then going to buy the groceries? Discuss it as parents. Because remember, yes, you are exes insofar as a romantic relationship is concerned. But insofar as parenting is concerned, you can never be exes. That can never happen. You are bound to start communicate.
All right. You're saying who's going to do that? I'm asking you then, who's going to do that? 0800 142 446. At this point in time, I would like you to take part in our conversation. 0800 142 446. Ago tete nathi sifuna ukwazi ukuthi nawe wena uzibona kanjani lezi ndaba esikhuluma ngazo lapha e-studio. 0800 142 446. So let's go to that question. Who must? Who must?
I think, the obligation should fall on both parents. we need to reach out to each other. Remember, at some point, we were friendly, we were loving each other, all was good.
Okay, does the act say the obligation must fall on both parents?
Yes.
Because an order will go out.
Yes.
Bon, if somebody goes to court, they say they want 5 rand. Okay?
Yes.
When a court order goes out, we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back on how to come to the figure.
Yes.
We're not talking about that now, but hey, very quickly, when an order comes out, at 5 rand, okay, who must pay for it? Yeah, the order goes to who?
The order goes to the one that does not have care of the child, the one that is not contributing at the time. Because remember, the reason why I went to court is because I'm not receiving, like the other part of the maintenance of the child. Then when we get to court, and this is, and remember, hence I said we need a mind shift, because people view the maintenance proceedings as somebody going after me. However, in the maintenance proceedings, remember, we have what we call a Section 6 inquiry, where the maintenance officer gets the both of you to sit down and say, guys, these are the issues, these are the needs of the child, these are your respective means, these are your expenses. Then how can we then ensure that this child's needs are met at this particular juncture? That opportunity you get given, but in most cases, then parents then start squabbling around the issue. Then that's what results then with us then having to go before a magistrate that will then have to do a full investigation of then leading evidence as to what the facts are, and then a court order will be issued against the person that is not maintaining the child, or that is perceived as not maintaining the child at the time. But you are given that particular, everyone who went to the court knows you are given an opportunity to discuss, and we call it an informal mediation.
The unfortunate thing is that I don't have the Maintenance Act right in front of me, because I would have read it in detail.
Section 6.
In detail, there's a portion, you know it, hey?
Yes.
Of course you know it. Of course you know it. There's a portion of it where it talks about both parents.
Yes.
So when that order goes out, it needs to be considerate of both parents.
Correct.
How does it do that? How do you consider both parents?
Okay. Remember, firstly, equality does not mean similarities, in the sense that if I earn 500 rand and then you are earning 1,000, it does not mean that we are both going to contribute 250. Remember, we have to, firstly, we put the needs of the child first, to say we need to school the child, we need to, because you must look at the situation and the circumstances of the child and the needs of the child vis-a-vis the means of the parents. Then you filter in how much this parent can contribute towards the need. Let's say, for instance, the needs of the child are 600 rand.
Okay.
And you have your 1,000 rand, and then I've got my 2,000 rand.
Right.
Then we consider, then we look at what your expenses are, what your income is, and how much can you then put into that 600 rand for this particular child.
Both of you?
The both of us. Then the court order will come out saying that at the end of the day, the child's expenses are 600 rand per month. However, the other parent is going to pay 250 rand, so that you meet each other halfway.
Does it say the other parent is going to pay 250 rand? And does it go on to say, and the other will pay this?
No. It never does that, because remember, in terms of the evidence, we would have submitted that already. I'm doing that. I'm housing the child already. I'm paying the school fees for the child already. And then I only need certain needs to be met. So that particular order is going to be restricted to the other needs.
Okay.
And remember, it is also subject to review.
All right.
At a later stage.
I want us to be as practical as we can be. Okay. And I promise you, Musoto, I'm not going to be emotional today. I'll control myself. Musoto said to me, calm down. He knows me very well. No, don't worry. I'm in studio, so everything is hunky-dory. So you don't have to worry about it. But can you be as practical as we can be? Now, but before we do that, let's go on to the telephone lines. And I believe we've got Patco on the line. A very good evening to you, Patco. Ngiyaphila kanjani?
Ngiyaphila kilimisa onsanda githembe bese sefuna ukwenza ukwenza imetho sezine kamuntu
Ilibakania.
Ikamro mebetelele mamaka kiphathu imona takalani alwa north.
Tela.
Shapo putaka rekwesiphosa ngakufundamphirphanyisa.
Thetha dad.
Ngizawuthetha uma sifuna sazi ixhoxwe ngida ubuza lo mbuzo ngaphambili.
Ndizamxalela kuba uthini.
Okay KB. Umuza mokuqala ndihlala nomama ekhaya apha endlini. Ngihlala nomama ekhaya asidivosanga. Kodwa ngoku ndifumene iwarrant esuka from the magistrate ukuba okanye ku-maintenance court uba funeke ndibhatale i-maintenance, kodwa ndihlala nomama asohlukenanga, akho nto iseyenze ukuba sohlukane. ukuthi ngisupport umntana lo sihlala naye okanye sinabantwana ababini support abantwana ababini umama uyasebenza nami ngiyasebenza ingaba ke ngoku loo nto leyo isebenza njani umbuzo wami wokuqala umbuzo wami wesibini exesheni elininzi kuba khona laa nto kuthiwa imali ayifakwanga kwi-maintenance court awuthiya mhlawumbi nge-1 okanye nge-3 elaa xa siqhela ungena ngayo okanye kuthiwa ilahlekile imali asiyazi uba kwenzeke ntoni ingaba izinto ezinjalo ezo bazilungisa njani uba ngandakhumbula last year babethe abantu funeke bazithe i-banking details so that bakwazi ufaka imali from ebhenki ne and then ikwazi uba immediately imali itsalwa kwi-account katata ikwazi ungena kwibhenki kamama so that umntana akwazi uba maintained and then eyokugqibela ingaba ke ngoku i-system yabo isebenza ngendlela e-right kulo nyaka since last time bekuthiwa inikeza ingxaki isystem le yento yabantu bathumela izinto phaa kwamagistrate zii-questions zami ezintathu ezo nkosi yami
Ndabulela Mhlonishwa. Thank you so much. Patco calling all the way from Aliwal North, 0800 142 446. Let's take Sebastian calling all the way from George. Sebastian?
Hello there.
Hi, Sebastian. How are you doing?
Good on you, man. Good evening to you, my man, and also good evening to Josephine, right there, Miss Petra. Always good to listen to you, and you're very passionate about this, as you are, Karabo. I've got one question, though. I must add it, though. I'm phoning from George, and even if that's the station, man. Okay, my question is, right, if you're a single parent, right, and by the time the court granted you the child, right, the court granted the person the child, and he's got custody. The men, this time around, the guy got custody of the child, and the mother never worried about giving maintenance or do anything about it because she wasn't working. But all of a sudden things change, you know, and she comes back and she wants to claim the child and does not go through the procedures the way it should be. And now you're sitting with problems. She doesn't give a cent towards the child, but she wants to have the child whenever she wants to. How do you explain that to your child, and what can you do regarding a matter like that? It's a bit complicated, but that's what we're dealing with.
It's not at all. It's not at all. We'll definitely tackle it. Thank you so much, Sebastian, for your call. Let's go to KZN. And we've got Nomo on there. In KZN, Nomo on there. Nomo on there in KZN.
Hello.
Hi, this is Nomo on there.
Yes, I've got 2 questions, please.
Ungabuza, Sisam.
Yes. Mine is that, okay, I have a child. I was working before, and I was thinking since the father decided to part ways, so I was thinking to my child. However, since like 2 years ago, I've since become disabled, which now means that I'm unable to work, and I'm on a permanent social grant. And I also received some funds for a social grant for my child as well because I could not get hold of the father. However, I now have found, like, I tried to get hold of the father, got connected to him. However, I've now been blocked. And now the expenses of the child are rising. I mean, I live with my mother as I'm disabled, so I can't go and work because I'm now blind. But now I can't see to my child financially, and the person refuses. And now I think they take advantage of the fact that I can't myself go to a court because me going to a court blind is near impossible. And now I find my child not being looked after. What can a person like me, what can happen to a person like me? Because I end up using my grant, my disability grant.
To take, yeah.
And I have nothing at all left.
All right.
What can a person like me do? Because
Okay.
On the person's phone, you can't contact the person.
All right. Thank you so much. No more on there from KZN. I believe we're going to go for a commercial break. Commercial break, no. Gee, commercial break. I want to do music radio on weekends. Now you want to go to a commercial break for what? I don't know. 0800 142 446. That's 0800 142 446. Let's start with Patco. He says, what about a guy that's staying with the mother of a child? It's a family. This is a family unit. Let's call it that. You know, the mom is there, the dad is there, the kids are there as well. But one of them, Patco said the mother then would go and file for maintenance for the father. In that scenario,
That is allowed.
Is it possible?
Yes.
Let's start there.
It's very possible, as long as the other party can prove that the other one is not meeting up their obligations. And Ubud Patko was saying, goodbye, I'm staying with Umama, and then now I have suddenly received a warrant. But Patko, you cannot receive a warrant. You have basically received what we call a directive, calling you to come to court, to come and discuss the situation yabantwana with the mother before the maintenance officer. So if Umama has proof she's the only one supporting abantwana and Ubud Patko is not coming to the party, that maintenance inquiry will be held and an order will be issued. Whilst we are staying together, it is allowed in law.
It's a technical one, though, this one. Because when now Okare, Patko is not taking care of the kids. But maybe Patko is not directly taking care of them. Maybe he's not buying the clothes for the kids.
Yes.
But maybe he's paying the bond, he's paying the car, he's paying the security of their house, he's taking them to school.
Yes.
But
Hence
maybe
I'm saying it is a directive calling you to come to court, to come and discuss that particular situation. So which means Ubud Patko will then have to take the proofs that he is doing all those things, because those things are regarded as maintenance. Because when you're talking the bond, then automatically it is the bond over the property where the children are staying. He's paying the school fees, it is part of maintenance. So that then is going to be settled on that particular basis.
All right.
So he needs to take those proofs that I am doing them. Because some other people then interpret maintenance to mean ching-ching, chelede. Does not automatically mean ching-ching. That is why I always encourage people to say, don't shoot yourself in the foot. Rather have a court order that is designed to say, the other one will pay school fees, the other one will register the child on the medical aid, the other one will buy clothes twice a year. It's simple that way. Then you don't have to be beefed up about, I need to pay the 5,000 rent.
all right. You're saying he would have to prove that he's doing that.
Correct.
What does the lady have to prove? Can't she prove that Patko is not doing it? Wouldn't there be proof required from her? Because if I go there and I prove myself, or Patko proves himself, I don't like it in Chabulitabi.
You know.
If Patko goes there and proves, no, I'm taking care of everything, why can't the law require some form of proof from this person?
It does. Because remember, the other requirement is that we must both file our income and expenditure statements.
Both of us.
When we are making
If yours
that
is zero,
application.
if yours is zero, mine is 25 rand or 20 or whatever the amount is. Where do you think? Obviously, it's a vague question, this, but if yours is zero, mine is 100 rand. Where do you think the court is going to go?
The court is going to say, but then remember, I'm coming to allege that he's doing nothing and I'm the only one doing the things. Remember, that's what I'm alleging.
No,
then
but let's shift from that one. Let's talk about practicality. The one is not working. The one is.
Okay.
What do you think the outcome would be?
The outcome would be it will favor more the one who is staying with the children. If I'm staying, but in this case, remember, they are staying together, and another one is alleging that the one is not maintaining the children, right?
Okay.
Then Ubud Patkwena is going to put out those proofs to say, but I am doing them.
All right.
Then the other party will then have to disprove that. And how are they going to disprove that? They must prove that they themselves are actually providing,
All right.
whereas the other one is not providing.
Let's talk about Sebastian. Before we go to Sebastian, I've got Carl. Carl, good evening to you. Carl, good evening to you. Okay, Carl Ageko. Bashimani? Ageko. Okay, Abeko Lababank. All right, we'll call them back just now. All right. So 0800 142 446. That's 0800 142 446. Let's go to Sebastian's question.
Before we go to Sebastian,
Okay.
can I finish off Ubudi Patko's questions?
Okay.
There was one where he asked about issues of monies not being paid on time to the beneficiaries of the maintenance.
Yes.
So that then speaks to the methods of payments. Remember, in terms of the strategy which was devised in terms of the maintenance implementation, is that you can go for direct payment, wherein the father or the mother pays directly into the account of the maintenance beneficiary, or you can go for a debit order or a stop order directly from the salary. Alternatively, remember that Justice has now introduced what we call Moja Pay system. The Moja Pay system is like your automated money transference system, wherein the money gets deducted from one salary, and then it is automated that on this particular day it must then go into the other person's account. Now, I think there was an issue with this motor pay system in the sense that it was not rolled out to all the courts. But now we are busy incrementally rolling it out to the courts so that we can have that system where people are getting their monies timelessly in terms of this motor pay system. And then the other one, he asked about how does this system particularly work. The system works, firstly, we must have a court order which has a specific date that says the money shall be paid into Karabo's account on this particular day. Then it first gets deducted from one's salary because it works mostly in the cases of garnishee orders and stop orders from the work. Then it gets paid into one's account. Then that's how you get your money.
All right.
Yes.
0800 142 446 0800 142 446. George, let me take you now, and then we'll go to Sebastian's question. George from Peli.
Hello.
Hey, bro, George.
Hey, the kind of day, Karabo.
What's the name, bro?
Mama Josephina. Kopa, the question to fella Malumua, go patella chat maintenance. And then one way to come higher, son and the mark. So come can Arna come higher, contribute among one name, Aram Recaladia Paro Lidijo. And then Kopo good sorry, Gador, Maluma Kahonauka cancel a maintenance or and then the process I think now cancel a maintenance to somebody else. And then second question, until what age Malumaka Jola Pedro Patella maintenance because of one and no 22 years.
Thank you so much. That's George calling all the way from Peli in Atteridgeville, right here in Pretoria. Let's go to Richards Bay, and we've got Carl Mudise. A very good evening to you, Carl.
Good evening, Karabo. How are you? And good evening to Me Konalapo. It's good to hear her voice again after a year. But I'll get right to it. I just wanted to find out, can she give us specifics on the turnaround time for when you lodge a complaint or a request for maintenance, a court order, to when it's actually implemented, and just the turnaround time for that, and the effectiveness of of the capacity to enforce that maintenance order.
All right, is that all, Carl?
Yes, no, that's all. That's all. Apart from saying thank you, the department for bringing back list of justice, I think we have been itching to get into the legalities of these things, and let's hope one day we'll get to meet the minister. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Carl, for your call and your contribution. Carl Mudise calling from North Coast Community Radio in Richards Bay. Here's Bashimani from Rustenburg. Bashimani from Rustenburg, please.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good, and you? Before we talk, bro.
Okay, no, thanks. My name is Rustenburg. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Yes, my name is Rustenburg. Radio Mafisa.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to ask you a question. I don't know how you are going to answer it. What if a child is living with somebody who is not a father or a mother? Say the child is living with a grandparent or an aunt who can the guardian who is in charge of the child. The request, that particular order. And among on both of the parents, either of the parents or both of the parents. That's my first question.
Mm-hmm.
And the second question, what is the maximum amount? Because our newspaper and other media, we find out where people are paying when you are, say, an ordinary Joe from the street, you are working at the mines, around 5,000 or 4,000. Normally, the order is around 500 or 1,000, whatever. But these superstars who earn a lot of money end up paying around 10,000 or 20,000 for it. So, what is the law saying to that particular question? Yeah. What is the minimum amount that you can pay, and what is the maximum amount that you can pay?
Yeah.
And my final question, what are the remedial actions for her? Order is there, and then you are ordered to pay a particular amount, say 5,000, whatever amount that is, and then the guy does not comply. What are the remedial actions? Are you supposed to
institute those remedial actions, or the court will automatically say, look, you are supposed to pay a certain amount, you didn't pay that amount.
All right.
Therefore, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Bashimane from Rustenburg will answer your question. All right, have we touched on Sebastian's one?
No.
Let's do that. Let's go for
yes. With Sebastian's one, where one wants to remove the child because of maintenance issues, I will urge you to contact the Office of the Family Advocate, and I'll tell you why. Remember, a child cannot just be unplugged from where they are uncomfortable simply because the parents are fighting. You need the family advocate so that they can then investigate the socio-psychological circumstances of this child, and thereafter have a parenting plan as to how the parents are going to then raise this child going forward, because now they are fighting over this child. Now we need to give this child stability, and the only way to give the child stability is for us to have a report detailing the social circumstances of this child vis-a-vis the parents.
Right. Thank you so much, Nomonde, calling us from KZN. Nomonde is living with a disability, and she wants to find out access to justice for people with disabilities.
With Nomonde's issue is a very special case, and what I've picked up when she was actually relaying her story is that she's also living with her mother, who happens to be the grandmother to the child. My assistance for her is that I will need her contact details, because I need to connect her with the Office of the Family Advocate where she's currently staying, so that they can assist her with drafting what we call a parental responsibilities and rights agreement in favor of the grandmother, so that we can give the grandmother certain parental responsibility so that she can then go to court and champion the issue of maintenance on behalf of this child.
All right, George, we're going to come to you now. Carl, we're going to come to you. Bashimane, we're coming to you as well. Let's take Kuli from Riverside before we do that. Kuli from Riverside. Kuli?
Good evening, Karabo and your guests. How are you?
I'm good, and yourself. Thank you so much for calling. What is your question or comment?
Great. Well, I have two questions here with me that I would just like to have clarity on. The first one would be, in an instance where someone has applied for maintenance and the person who is supposed to come to court doesn't teach. What happens in an instance like that? So, for instance, the first time the court date was set, then they don't teach. The second time, they don't teach.
Okay.
What happens in a case like that? And then also, in terms of age requirements to apply for maintenance, how old should the child be? And then also, is the child able to actually apply for maintenance themselves as well?
All right. Thank you so much, Kuli, for your question. I really appreciate it. All right, let's tread back, and we go into George. George wanted to find out. George says his uncle pays for maintenance, maintenance, right? The child obviously used to live with the mother back then, but now the child is back home where the father is. Yes. So now the child is staying with the father.
The child is now staying with the father. However, there's a running court order or maintenance court order, right? In that case, Buti George needs to get the uncle to go to court and apply for what we call discharge from the maintenance court order. Discharge meaning that he's going to be removed from the operation of the court order. He does that by getting to the maintenance court which issued that particular court order, and then apply for that discharge, so that then he will no longer be paying maintenance in terms of complying with that court order as is, because maybe I can then assume that the money is still going to the mother.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, I think he also asked about the issue of until what age can the uncle continue paying for maintenance. And then remember that in this case, we do no longer have an age limit per se. However, we look at this particular requirement that says until the child is self-supportive. But please, don't be 25 years old and think that you can just willy-nilly get maintenance from your parents. That is going to be the subject of the court that needs to be determined by the court. You will then have to go to court yourself as an adult. Go and prove your case against both your parents that they still need to maintain you, because, for example, you are still going through the school, and your aptitudinal faculties are such that you still need to be at school and then finalize your education. So you cannot just be at home and then do nothing and then still demand maintenance from your parents.
Okay. There's two follow-up questions that I would like to ask from there, but let me ask A1. A1, I will deal with it at the end. The discharge issue. What qualifies one to be granted a discharge? So in other words, if you go there and say, I'm applying for a discharge, what would it take for the courts to grant you a discharge? Is staying with the child alone sufficient?
It is sufficient in this sense. Remember that when the court order was issued, it was issued against you as one that was not staying with the child.
Okay.
So now you need to be released from the operation of that particular court order. Number two, when the child then now turns 18, when they become a major. Remember that now at the time the applicant of the maintenance order was the mother or was the father, Azumile. But now because now the child has now turned 18, now they will need to then champion their case themselves. So now you then have to release the father from the operation of the initial court order, because you can't have more than one court order in respect of one child. So then they'll then have to be a new court order by the child against both the parents, not one parent, against both the parents.
All right. You know what I'm scared to do, gentlemen? I'm scared to take a lot of calls, and then at the end we're unable to take them. No, write warning letters tomorrow. It's fine. Write warning letters, dishing out warning letters. People get fired from government. I will be the first one to do that. Anonymous from Pretoria. Good evening to you, Anonymous.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good at yourself. Thank you so much for calling.
Good evening to everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Go for it.
I'll try to summarize everything.
Yeah.
Mine, I'm divorced, ne?
Mm-hmm.
And then when we divorced, the guy claimed 50% of my pension fund. He didn't bring anything. He didn't claim anything. It was only the money.
Mm-hmm.
So now I go to maintenance court to lodge my complaint to say the guy is not paying maintenance. He was given a court order to say you need to pay what I've paid after we divorce for the school fees, because on our degree of divorce it says he must only pay the school fees, but he's not doing that. I've been in and out Pretoria maintenance court since 2016, 2017. He is not paying the school fees now for my kids. It's in areas I don't know what to do now, because I'm doing everything with the kids. I've got a house, I'm paying the bond, but he's not doing anything, and
Okay.
I've been in and out maintenance court. They're not helping me with anything.
Okay. Is that the only question that you have?
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm rushing you. Please pardon me for that. It's just that I've got a lot of people that are calling in. Okay, thank you so much. So we've got it. Don't worry about it. I've noted it down and we'll deal with it. All right?
Okay.
Thank you so much, madam. All right, let's go to the Free State. We've got another anonymous. But why pitla? But why pitla ka mara di phone? But why you go to be anonymous from the Free State? Good evening.
Hi. Good evening.
Hey, what is your question, ma'am?
Ke na le ngwana ne le motho, so ha maintain ngwana o 5 years.
Yeah.
Motho o nana ko kopa botsa, is it possible hore ha le ya court ho be le dilawyer a go tlo nkela dilawyer?
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Okay, ya bobedi hape is it go na le ile tsala hore let's say ya court le wena le me re na le ngwana, and then wena in the meantime o ga se wa hao. In the meantime, maybe about DNA, and then how about DNA? Something. Quite a lot of my dear long one.
Hi, man. Okay, let me not. Okay, we'll answer it. Did you see what Musoto did when I reacted? Thank you so much, Anonymous, for your question. We'll answer it. Did you see what Musoto did? I wish people could see this on video. When I went arm, and Musoto quickly stood up because he thought I'm losing it now, and he was calling me into order. No, it's fine. I'm still on track. Yes, Simpiwe from Ngubela Community Radio. Good evening to you, Simpiwe.
Hello.
Hi, Simpiwe.
Yes, Kabza. How are you?
I'm doing well. And yourself, Simpiwe?
No, great stuff, man. I'm Simpiwe from Ngubela FM in Port Elizabeth.
Right.
My question is somewhat technical, in the sense that I want to know, do you, as the father that is paying the maintenance, have a right to maybe perhaps ask the court, maybe let's say, as you know, that as black people, sometimes we are the only one, the one that is paying the maintenance. You are the only one that is a breadwinner in your household. Do you have a right, maybe perhaps, to ask maybe for a relief? Let's say you've got a bereavement, is there any law that actually protects you so that you say, okay, for this month, I want to maybe to get a rest in terms of paying the maintenance. I'm not trying to default or trying to run away, but I've got this challenge that I have. Is there any law that maybe perhaps protect the one that is paying the maintenance on that?
Yeah. Okay, we'll answer it in period, but hey, brah, yeah, no. So Zulung, brah. Ah, well, but that's me. We'll check. We'll check with my guest in the studio. Well, things happen, Chief. Things happen. We'll find out. Thank you so much for calling in. 10 minutes before 7 o'clock, 0800 142 446. Can we take the last two, gentlemen? Otherwise, we're not going to be able to answer all of them. Can we take the last two or the last three, maybe? All right. Should I go on? Answer the questions? All right, let's go on. All right, let's we're going to Carl, right? Yes. What he wants to know the turnaround time after lodging a maintenance
case or claim. There is no exact turnaround time because remember there are dependencies and each and every case is treated in accordance with its own merits. For instance, you can get someone coming to court and say the father of my child is Rasta and then he works at a mine. Then it means that it's upon us as the department to then go and trace Rasta and make sure that we bring Rasta then to court. Then in some instances we may try to serve the directive on Rasta and then we are unable to locate Rasta, so that could actually delay the bit. In other instances, the parties will both come to court, but then you'll find that there is a dispute as regards whether they will afford to pay maintenance. Then we'll have to then launch a full-blown investigation, go into their bank accounts, go and determine the extent of their financial responsibility and the available means, as well as the assets. So you can attach a specific turnaround time. However, there is a key performance indicator within the Department of Justice which deals with the finalization of maintenance measures within 90 days from the date of proper service of process. So we strive to actually meet that particular performance standard, right, but then subject to the merits of the case.
Okay. So now, Bashimani wants to find out, the child that lives with someone else, can somebody apply for maintenance on behalf of a child that's living with someone else and not them?
There is a process. Firstly, the person who's not the biological parent of the child needs to get the paperwork sorted out, in the sense of going to the social workers in the area where they are staying to go and get papers that will relate to them having care of the child at that particular time. I've seen that the Children's Court is actually providing those services, so you can go there or you can start with the social workers and get paperwork done with regards to having care of the child. Then once you have that court order regarding having care of the child, then you can approach the maintenance court and launch a maintenance case against both parents, not only the father. Both the mother and the father, they must both be brought to court to come and answer for this maintenance issue.
In this instance, somebody else.
Correct.
Both the father and the mother are not staying with the child.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Yes.
All right. Now, on that note, having said that, what if the child stays with the granny? Mm-hmm. All right? Say of the mother, for instance. So meaning the mother is not staying with the child, yes, the father is not staying with the child, mm-hmm, either. All right? Yes. And then there's a maintenance court order there. How do we deal with that scenario there? What is going
maintenance
on there?
Court order in whose name? Because remember, somebody else must have gone to court. The court
in the mother's name. Is the mother was a complainant.
Okay. The mother was the complainant, but then they're not staying with the child.
Yeah.
Then the father has a right to approach the court.
And say what?
And say, the money may not be, there's a suspicion that the money may not be applied for the intended purpose. Then in that case, then you do an investigation to check whether the money is actually being transmitted from the mother to the child. Because remember, you are not staying with the child, so you are not legally entitled to receive that maintenance money.
Okay, but on the basis the mother is not receiving it, other maintenance, or
it's going directly
to the requirements someone. Okay. Well, you know why I'm asking this? I'm coming from a premises that we once spoke about before. We once said, and correct me if I'm wrong, we once said that when one is going to apply for maintenance, they gotta be staying with the child
all the time.
And throughout our conversation, we've been saying because you are not there, she is there, or he is there, she is not there. All right, that's the premises we're moving from.
You must always be staying with the child. You cannot be claiming maintenance when you are in Johannesburg and the child is in Limpopo. You can't be. You are not having the care of the child. So you cannot. That is why I'm saying that is why the law has made now things very simple. As the holder of full parental responsibility and rights, you can give to the other person such rights for them to actually go and enforce the maintenance on behalf of this child.
A technical, man.
It is not.
It is.
It is not.
Let me tell you why I get it technical. All right? Because now, look, either the child is staying with the parents, it's the mother.
Yes.
And then the father is paying maintenance. The father is paying both school fees, directly into it.
Yes.
What could the court say if I go to the court and say, Mara, she does not stay with the child?
But then at that time, you are not giving the money to the mother. You are actually applying it to the relevant necessities of the child, which benefits the child. Because remember, for you to have a valid maintenance claim, you must actually prove the need of the child. So if the school fees is paid, the child is clothed, everything is going well, then why are you coming to the court?
So now, because they're not staying with the mother, if I'm paying 10 rand, yes. They're not staying with the mother. I'm paying 10 rand. Okay, I'm paying 10 rand. 10 rand is being spent towards the needs of the child. Yes. Can I approach the court and say, for the mere fact that she's not staying with the child, can we half the 10 rand she pays for it? Why?
No, you can't. Because then you're starting a different dynamic altogether.
You're not.
In the sense.
We are both contributing to the child that's not staying with us.
Correct, yes. And then because the person who's actually entitled to come and say the 10 rand is not meeting the needs of the child is actually the grandmother. Because this is the person that is staying with the child on a full-time basis.
And then the grandmother will then approach the court and tell the courts who needs to pay.
Correct.
Who?
No, to say the both of them must pay.
Okay.
Both.
What if I don't want?
When you bring the both, because remember you are taking the both of them as the parents of the child, then they'll have to come and then now put in their income and expenditure, bank statement, pay slips and everything. Then you do the determination and the investigation from that point. So the person who's entitled to actually raise the hand is the person staying with the child. If you're staying out there, then it's merely hearsay. Because how can you confirm the application or the implementation of the 10
It gets
rand?
very dangerous. It gets very, no, you know what?
That's true.
Just, I'm looking at the time and we've got like 10 minutes left. You see, this thing. Now that's why I can present. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to our crowd quickly. Let's chat to Stephen. Stephen is on the line. Stephen?
Hello.
Hey, bro, Steve.
Hello.
Hey, dim farafarete, braya. Hey.
Why?
Wa man dilo ke tšintši man. Hey, nka re utlwa wena tša gore re.
Wow.
Bra Steve, ke kopa re o tswalle radio ya hao.
Radio ya ka.
Yeah.
Le tswaletse.
Yeah, putšwa le re.
Ke batla o itse gore ke na le ngwana mna.
Yeah.
Mosadi o na ke mo romela tšhelete.
Yeah.
And wa mpotsa re ko sekolong ba nyaka 1 2 3 ke mo romela tšhelete ba nyaka tšhelete ya le kana bokana wa bona.
Yeah.
And tšhelete eo e nyaka ya ko sekolong we etsa extra.
Mang we etsa extra?
Mme wa ngwana.
Okay.
Inflate.
We etsa extra. O nyakile tšhelete tsa le uniform. Okay, ka mo romela. O nyaka tšhelete ya patela sekolo, school fees, ka e romela. Okay. After that, ke la ka tsamaya. Tšhomi ya ka mfone ya re ngwana ga wa sopaya ka go sekolong. Ga ke fita go sekolong. Ka nnete ke kry-ile ngwana ka a sena uniform.
Okay, all right.
Ngwana a senang uniform, matitšhere ba mpotsa re kgale re o batla. Re sa itse re tlo o kry-a bjang.
Okay, all right. Okay, but Steve,
uniform mo sekolong.
Gape, I get gape.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's fine. It's you're not concerned about this. But Steve, be as short as possible. If we let the second one go better so that we can answer other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Steve, I'm glad you're the one who's asking this, because I was most probably going to get warning letters tomorrow from Lennox, but nonetheless. Let's go to Kabelo from Zirest. Kabelo, sweet and short, what is your question? Kabelo? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My question is quickly similar with Steve,
yeah.
Because we create a court order of maintenance. mare o fitlhele tšhelete ya go gogiwa mare ga o kopana le ngwana o tshwanetse o bone ngwana o fitlhele ngwana o kare ga gona care epe e leng gore wa e kry-a wa tlhokomela o kry-a o ipotsa gore tšhelete e leng gore ya e dirisetsa for mabaka a feng. And one other thing, ga o re isa di-concern tse dintseng jalo tsa gore wa o kare ngwana ga ba mo tlhokomele gantle e be e le gore gate o ka thola bona ngwana ke batla go itse gore concern ya gago yaanong o tshwanetse gore o ise kae ke tshwanetse ke gape go kgota gore ke tshwanetse ke dire jang.
All right, thank you so much, Kabelo. Zerest, Adolf, our last caller from Limpopo. Adolf from Limpopo.
Thobela.
Oh, Adolf, before Thobela and all of that, please.
Okay, so Jona Coach.
All right, put your name.
One of Coach, Adolf, come Magaga, which are Limpopo.
Trouble.
No one of Coach, le Mawana.
Eh.
Good Lord, Mawana, one of Coach, Gina Pile, Regular and I can go to Alana.
Yeah.
Jwala ke tloga lana le yana ngwana kgoši ke na le ngwana le yana ngwana motego ba babedi jwale ga ke ne le yana ngwana motego ba babedi ge ke re ke ya go bona bana ngwana kgoši garebela ya ka ile ke bua go le yana ngwana kgoši ke gana ke bona ngwana ana pušwa mbuto ngwana kgoši kgopelo re nkarabele yona gore ana e ra gore nga botsebotse
ga le butšha bale ga le mmutša le rena o reng le gana ke tlo bona ngwana o reng
tama
ga le mmutša gore na phoswi ka ge ke tla ke tlo bona ngwana o reng
ga ba bona go go mmutša gore phoswi ka ge re ke tlo bona ngwana ke moka ngwana gore ke mmone e napile jwale tshelelo le ya tsoga fa o jwala kere
bjalo a kere o tshwanetse gore a lefe lebaka la gore no ga ke nyaka o tlo bona ngwana ka gore baka la ka šile o reng ga le tlhaološetša o reng
jwale ba ngwana go tšwa ba go fe lebaka nne ebile o kore mo wa be fela le go be fela
o gana fela
ya kgonagala ke dibale
ngwana le a mo hlokomela lena
ke tama
ngwana le a mo hlokomela le mo iša sekolong le a mo rekela diaparo le direla dilo ka moka
wona a ke re no ba butše na be ke butša gore ana nna kore nna ga ke ne selo mo ke leng gore kere šetse ke no butša ba ile
in general
le bana
okay
general
all right okay basically you get access to visitation rights okay re tla seka Arof. Thank you so much. It's a minute after 7 o'clock. We've got about 6 minutes to go. Let's move on quickly.
He asked about the remedial actions for not paying. Number one, once the court issues a court order, it is a criminal offense for not complying with a maintenance court order, and you may be imprisoned for a period not more than 3 years. That is number one. Alternatively, in the case where arresting you or criminal enforcement is not feasible, like for instance, and all that, we can issue what we call a garnishee order. Meaning, that issue order is cause the blacklisting. That garnishee order every month, and before your employer pays you, then the maintenance amount gets deducted, and then alternatively, and recently last year there were 2 constitutional court cases where people's houses were sold in lieu of maintenance. So we can attach your movables and your immovable properties to actually pay maintenance. So taba patele maintenance isira sa gampe ene gopola gape ka di 5 ja January 2018 re molaola wa gore we must start blacklisting o tsene. So we must start blacklisting and go ipotsa gore o tlo tshaba tseba gore the amendments tsa the Maintenance Amendment Act dire the court is entitled to issue a court order gore ro search di telephone records tsa ga gore go gwetse. So that's how much we take maintenance very serious.
But Shimani also wanted to know gore na only a max amount to maintenance.
Maintenance, you can't say you've got a maximum amount or a minimum amount in the sense that it is the needs of the child taking into consideration the circumstances. For instance, let's say 70,000, papa 150,000. You can't pay 500 rand maintenance to that child because they've been accustomed to a particular lifestyle. Again, if it will be a maximum minimum, you may also prejudice bana ba they were born with special needs. So you can't put a price tag because of the needs of an individual in their own right.
Yeah.
So you can't put maximum or minimum. Okay. And then ya kuli. When you have applied for maintenance and then moto ha pitch, ke tlo share di number jaka because ke tsaba ba sa ba ntshi ba na le mathata a majwalo a gore batho a battle go court.
Overlata.
No, what we have done, no, can I a special project? Can I a special project?
No, I was going to come with you.
No, can I a special project where we assist and we know where we can assist everyone at the same time. But what I do is keep a phone number, then you just send me a WhatsApp or a message. Then I get the maintenance investigator within my office to actually assist in terms of tracing back. Okay. So if that is the case, then because remember you need to distinguish between two cases. There are cases where the maintenance investigator may not get hold of Karabo. Yeah. In that case, then it was difficult to issue a subpoena. Yeah. But in the case where Karabo and then disregard or hard court, then go catch us opinion, then akaswariwa for only disrespecting the directive failure. Akaswariwa then I thrown over and above having to be sued for maintenance. And then the age requirement for applying for maintenance, every child from 0 age to until when they are self-supportive, they are entitled to maintenance. However, how wana atena 18 years, I get over a young adult, then they can pursue the maintenance case themselves without dependence. Parents can just be there just to serve as guide, but they must pursue the case themselves because they are now being taken to be the adults, but attain the majority. And then anonymous from Pretoria are who divorces, and then 50% higher pension fund matrimonial proprietary consequences. Remember pension ya ka ke asset ya ka re tlhala namle ba go fa half. Now ha gone ka ntate a patele maintenance, but ho na le court order e rileng a bushe ye nngwe tšhelete. So ntate as we speak he is in default, so mme a ye go court a dira ntse re bitang gore ke enforcement, so that go tlo attachiwa some of those monies di freeziwe until ba finalize this particular case ya gore ngwana a patelwe dilo tša gagwe. So please go to court for enforcement purposes. And then enwe ke ma o nabela ka gore o na le ngwana wa 5 years and then ndate ha support. Is it possible to bring the lawyers ke South Africa? But then in most cases during the section 6 inquiry abana role to play, because in the section 6 inquiry can investigation ya submission of income and expenditure statement, the pay slip and all that to determine the needs of one. They will only be relevant in the case where before they make certain the arguments, disputes, side effects. Because I can remember no, but Karabo old driver Range Rover, but then why driver Range Rover, but I know for 600 rand. Then that's when then you'll be arguing such particular issues. But those issues are real. But and then as a father, does he have the right to a relief? Relief. Maintenance wa patediwa up until and until. And then no ga tlhokofala ngwana o na le right ya gore a lodge case against your estate. So ba nna ka se o tlo ba Romeo maintenance a o fe
loga ba golata loga go ba wapela ba golata.
And then for ba patla maintenance ba believe our maintenance so our apply to please go back to court ne o gopela ntse re bitang gore ke reduction of the maintenance. Reduction of the maintenance amount more. Then in that way, then how to do an investigation? Then but court is the first place to go. So let's get la foshana can no pay like a court and then the reduction. But I'm media mail. I profana the proof that one now the school uniform little locamo.
And then the Teletubbies soda. I got the Teletubbies keep popular by against somewhere. By inflate
and then Papa will why is the law saying the children are the women's children? I can remember in South Africa a paradigm shift in the law governing parent-child relationship. Bana basali subject of parental authority. Bana li ditukelo separate from the parents ja bona to an extent ya gore bana ba ke bana ba batswadi ka monka ba bobedi ga bona batswadi bana le di obligations towards bana ba. So motho ka stlare a re ke ngwanaka a o sa no gore motho ke ngwanaka ke a isa le subject ke bana ba ke they've got their own rights ke the bearers of rights o check le section 28 ya the constitution. They've got specific rights and again the individuals and institutions separate from their parents.
But is it in black and white now?
It is in black and white.
No, it is. Is it in black and white, or but now it's no longer that we used to know? Is it written down somewhere?
In black and white, Section 28 of the Constitution, Section 18, 19, 21, and 33 of the Children's Act, number 38 of 2005, black and white.
Right. Okay. Misuse of funds?
Young court, and then reduction of the maintenance amount. In that way, it will cause an investigation into the circumstances.
Right. Adolf was worried he does not get access to the kids.
How does I get access to the kids? Because of with regard to this access to justice system, every magistrate court in the area where you are residing in a children's court. Mo ka yang wa yo register di consents tsa gago, and then ba mmitse mmage go tlo gona go bolediwe ka ngwana le gore ngwana a gone gore a tlhokomele. Ke a tshepa ka re di arabile ka moka ke
part 2. I'm voting for part 2. All right. I'm getting conflicting messages now. My producer saying time is up. My telephone screener says, look at your screen, there's a caller. Is it there's a caller, or okay, there's no caller? Let me just take this time to apologize to the following people. They've tried to access the show via telephone and they were unable to due to the fact that the phone lines always get clogged in these shows. That's Dawn from Ranfontein, that's Sam Zebediela Vilagazi Mahike, Jason from Kofifi as well. You tried to come in and unfortunately you were not able to do that. And Vilagazi as well tried to call in and he was not able to do that as well. And all the other people that have tried and the phone just rang and they were not able to go through the system. We apologize for that, but next time we'll definitely try our best to take your calls. It's always clogged up in these shows, I must say. That was the voice of Ms. Josephine Petam, a senior legal admin officer coming from the Office of the Family Advocate from the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, taking a different approach to maintenance altogether, and hopefully we're going to do part 2 of this in the future. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much to Mosoto Stone on controls. Mosoto did an absolutely amazing job today. He made sure that we get clear connectivity and he made sure that this show goes on. If it wasn't for him, we would not be on air. And I would like to say thank you so much to you, sir, for the job wonderfully done. Really appreciate that. And the head of the radio unit decided to be part of the show today. And I know why, because he wanted to just monitor me. Yeah, I know. La Planamus. You wanted to monitor that I don't get out of the... And no, I didn't. That was okay. Thank you so much for that. We've got a young man who's doing an amazing job in the radio unit. This guy is really an asset to us, and we really appreciate his presence and all the job that he's done. I mean, he's helping us in a great way. That's his Tswana name. But he prefers to be called Ace because you must see he's a hunk. He's a hunk. He walks in the building and all the ladies, they stop dead in their tracks. My goodness me. Yeah, he was the man that was behind the controls of the State of the Nation address. He handled the entire thing all by himself. He's kicking butt. He's doing an absolutely amazing job. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for our colleague coming from the video department. That's Nobubele. Nobs, I will tell you the story about Nobubele in the future in our next episode. We just ran out of time. We were in East London and something absolutely ridiculous happened. And this is a joke of the year that I'll share with you next time. Stolana Sabapeli Matavele, that's me, Karabolans. I managed to hold the reins and not let go of this horse today, and I really thank you for your time as well. Let's meet again next week, same place, same time. In fact, let's meet again on Thursday. Let's meet on Thursday, this coming Thursday. Ciao for now.